2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Purlwise Podcast, knitting all day, let's look at it together. Purlwise Podcast, stitch by stitch, we can make whatever. Stitch by stitch, it's made by your friend Claire.
Hello, welcome back to Purlwise Knitting Podcast. My name is Claire. I'm a knitter and a sewist, and other things, and I live in Montreal. And this is my YouTube channel where I talk about mostly knitting, sometimes sewing. I hope the light is okay. I just filmed my Everything I Knit in 2022 video, and I thought maybe it would be too dark to do this now, but I think it's not, and I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm wearing my Great Gingham raglan, which I talked about in that Everything I Knit video and in the podcast previously, so I won't say too much about it because I just talked about it, but I'll show. One of my favorite sweaters, and I wear it a lot. Yeah, and I'm gonna jump right into things because somehow there's always a mountain of stuff. I have not very many finished things, and I'm gonna keep it limited on the whips too, but I have maybe it'll be like a fairly acquisition heavy episode because I got a lot of gifts. So I just want to show you the things that people gifted me because that's so nice. Yeah, so I'll start, and it's nice because my first thing matches my sweater. Where's the back? This is my first finished object of 2023, and it's yeah, a lot with the sweater and the hat. It looks good with the ears out, I think. This is kind of the Wave Run Beret by Ailbíona McLochlainn. I'm still like figuring out how I want a beret to look on me, I think is the issue. And so I've knit this pattern before, the Wave Run pattern, and I found it really, like, the circumference was really big, so I decided to try and make it smaller with this one, and it's knit in Piece Fleece Sport / DK, something, it's called something like that. Sorry, I'm shaking the table. In the color Sakhalin Salmon, which is the same color as this. So yeah, I tried to make it smaller than my last one, which I think I had knit the middle size with my first Wave Run beret, and this one I started with the small size, and then when I got to, like, because I start at the top, you increase, and then you decrease, and so I increased out to the smallest size and then decreased to the middle size, so it's kind of like smaller on top, and then the middle size around my head, because I knew that's what fit my head. And then instead of doing ribbing, I did an I-cord bind off. And I'm pretty happy with it. I've been wearing it a lot. I'm like, how do I look? I'm always wondering if it's good, if it's a good shape. I think it is a good shape. I was watching The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Lucy Pevensey wears this like tiny little beret, and I was like, I want my beret to fit like Lucy from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which seems silly, as I am an adult woman. But yeah. See, again, I like it. This is my beret problem, is that I like it from the side. And then when I look from the front, I'm like, what's going on? But no one looks at you only from straight on. Like, people are always moving. So that's something that I have to remember when I'm like feeling critical about how something looks on me, is that I don't stand directly in front of people like this and have them only stare at me straight on. Oh boy. Yeah, so that's my first, or well, really only finished object for this episode. We need a hair fixing break. And I still think this little loop detail is so cute. Yeah. So I think that, like, I think I'd do that again. I like the fabric that it made, because I guess it's on the heavier side of DK, or of sport. Wow, I'm not used to the camera being so nice and picking up so much. I'm recording on my phone this time around. So, but I keep shaking the table. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't this way. What could I do to make it stop being this way? I assembled this table, so that's probably why it shakes. Yeah, it's just a nice dense fabric. Though I wonder if in future I might even want to go up to a DK for berets in like a next iteration. And I think I'd like maybe a black beret. Seems practical. I feel like berets are better for curly hair, because there's just that one point of squishing. And I'm always like, do you tuck it? Anyways, I could talk about berets for 5 minutes, it looks like. Yeah, so would love to make a black one in future. I wonder if I went a bit long on this loop. Like, maybe I would do it a bit shorter next time. So yeah, first finished object of 2023. What's next? And the next thing is a half finished. I like the pile of yarn beside me is so big that I have nowhere to throw this. Okay, I landed somewhere. That's fine. My next thing is just one sock. And I haven't woven in the ends yet because the other one's not done yet. So that'll happen eventually. But it's so funny. This is a DRK Everyday Sock by Andrea Mowry. And it is knit in I wrote it down. Small Bird Workshop, their Barn Swallow sock base. And I meant to check what I believe the fiber content of the Barn Swallow sock is the same as something else that's over here, which I won't show you yet. But 30% mohair, 70% wool, and it's all Canadian fibers. And I'll talk more about that later. But the colorway is called Forest Floor, and I think that's what drew me to it. Yeah, you can see where entering ring light time. So that's not the most beautiful, accurate version, but you get an idea. It is starting to get dark. Yeah, so it looks really long. I added, like I've talked about in the past, I added a 1/2 inch of length in the foot to allow for felting, because there is no nylon and it's a non-superwash wool. And then I didn't knit the leg quite as long as she suggested. I think I did 6 inches instead of 7 inches, something like that. And I've started the second sock. Here's the cake. Yeah, you can see this is where the artificial light is coming from, and this side is in the natural light. So it looks a bit nicer over here. Yeah, and I've made a bit of progress on the second sock. And I'm really excited to finish these because I do think the shape is going to be really good on my foot. And I want to see how this blend of fibers wears. And my nylon-free, non-superwash socks have been my favorites to wear. And I need more. So I'm trying to do this quickly because I'd like to wear them. There's the toe. So yeah, that's my second finished thing. And I've been carrying it around in this cute bagoo bag that my friend Rudy gave me. What next? So I have shown this a bit, this next work in progress in my like little vlog type videos that I did last December. I'll get that out of the way. This has quite a smell to it. I notice now that it's been in a bag for a little while. So this is, oh, it looks pretty. This is the Misurina by Caitlin Hunter, which is kind of like it's like a summer tee pattern that I am knitting as a sweater in Holst Supersoft, held double. And the colorways are Nougat and black. I'm pretty sure it's just called black. Yeah, and I've made a few modifications already. What did I do? I didn't cast on the ribbing. I just cast on for the number of stitches that was supposed to be there post ribbing. I just omitted the ribbing, and I'm going to pick up and do the collar later. In part because I think that, I don't know, I've just knit a lot of sweaters that have that construction where you pick up and knit the collar later. And I think that it helps it not stretch out as much. This is what I've understood from listening to other people talk about it. So that seems good to me. And also because I think I might do something. I kind of want to bring the black into the ribbing. I'm thinking about doing like a corrugated ribbing. So like alternating the black and the nougat in the rib, because I feel like that might be a nice way to bring the black into other parts of the sweater, so that it's not just this beige sweater with just a ring of black. So there's a little bit of like maybe in the cuffs and the hem and I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So that would be another modification if I do that. What else did I modify? I should have written these things down, but I didn't. So I did have to order more yarn because I knit most of this over the time I was in Ottawa for Christmas with my family. But I started running out of the black because I only had one ball of Holst Supersoft, which is like this size. It's 50 grams. So I had one of these, and I almost made it to the end of the chart with that. And I think I had 6 balls of Nougat because I had originally been intending to knit a fingering, this at its like held single as a fingering weight. But I was finding that was too light. So I think I talked about this. I've talked about this. Anyway, so I ordered 3 more balls of the Nougat, bringing it to 9 total balls of the main color that I have and 2 balls of the black. So we'll see. Maybe I won't need all of that, but we'll find out. So yeah, I was really like loving this until I ran out of black, and so now it's kind of been sitting for a few weeks. Oh, the other modification that I made was I noticed from reading people's project pages on Ravelry that how the pattern is written, the chart, I shifted the chart over. Oh, it's so hard to describe this, but I shifted the chart over to make sure that the like this center motif, wherever that, I think maybe it goes more like this. Where's the back? Okay, the back is here. I just wanted to make sure that the center flower was perfectly centered. And I did that on the advice of other people I saw on Ravelry, because she has you kind of start the round slightly off center. So I just moved it over to center it. And it's hard to kind of describe without, like, if you don't have the pattern in front of you, but I just made sure to center the motifs so that there's, like, in the back there's a cable. So this is the beginning of round, and this is the beginning of the chart, I believe. Yeah, or something like that. And it was supposed to like be just a few stitches that way, and I moved it over so that the cable ran right down at the beginning of round. You can see my short rows. So yeah, really fun. It's been nice to knit things up at like a worsted weight gauge after knitting so many things in fingering weight yarn. But yeah, I'm not rushing. But I think this will be really nice to wear. And I think also because I've been liking this sweater so much, I do think something like more like bold and kind of graphic looking is something that I'll want to wear a lot. As far as the yarn goes, obviously holding it double makes it slightly, it's still a very affordable option, I think, as far as yarn goes. Though, yeah, I was talking about needing to order more, and someone in the comments, and I'm sorry, I should have found your name, but I'm doing things on the fly, had mentioned that it is cheaper to just buy directly from Holst and pay the shipping from Denmark to your home. And I found that to be the case. Like, for instance, the I bought 4 balls. The extra 4 balls plus shipping was like $35 Canadian. And that was because the shipping was $16 or something, which was way cheaper than buying the balls from a yarn store in Canada, plus paying the $15 of shipping that is like kind of normal for Canadian yarn stores. So yeah, I would definitely, going forward, would only ever order Holst from the website directly. And I noticed even to ship a cone was the same price. So yeah, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's my favorite yarn to knit with. Like there is that kind of, it's like a sheepy but also chemical smell because it still has the spinning oils in it. And for that reason, it's kind of like rough to knit with. It's got kind of like a ropey feeling. Which is not, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not my favorite thing I've ever knit with. But I do think it's going to be nice and soft once it's blocked. And I think it will be fun to wear. I almost forgot to talk about the main change, one of the other changes that I made was using ladder back jacquard to catch the floats, and this was another thing I'd seen on a lot of people's project pages, and it's a technique that I've been wanting to try, so I'm glad I got the opportunity. So you can see here, ignore those ends. So this is what it looks like from the back. And ladder back jacquard is a way of managing long floats, where you, when you start doing your color work, you backwards loop cast on a stitch in your contrast color, and then you knit that throughout. But it gets tucked behind the rest of the knitting, so it creates this like fabric that is like separate, so it's not attached. I can like put my finger behind that stitch, and you can see it here on my needle. That's the stitch right there. And yeah, there's probably, you can definitely find YouTube videos of people explaining it better than I just did. But one thing I was like, how will this possibly work? Was having the ladder back jacquard and the cable, like interwoven with each other, and I was like, how am I going to do that? Like, how am I going to knit that stitch while also crossing the cable over when I need to? And I did figure it out, and it just involves moving the stitch. I've been cabling without a cable needle, and I just like take that stitch into account. And so I had filmed a last vlog over like Christmas itself that never saw the light of day, and I had taken a video of me doing that, and it's not a very good video, but maybe I'll insert it here because it's maybe interesting to see. And yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna finish that last vlog, just because it's not like seasonally appropriate anymore. So I'll insert that footage of me doing the it's such a bad video, but me knitting the ladder back jacquard stitch while also doing the cable crossover. So here it is. yeah, I hope that was interesting to you. And yeah, having this out now makes me excited about working on it. And hopefully I will pick it back up again soon. I just also think the back looks really nice. Just looks cool. Okay, I just had to take a break because filming 2 videos in one day is maybe a lot. But I'm happy to be doing it. So my next thing for my next trick, this is the thing I've been working on the most recently. I've got it in my rabbit bag. And it is, I talked about this yarn in one of my vlogs too. I'm knitting I'm just trying to figure out which is the front. I think it's this. So I'm knitting the Hanko by Sari Nordlund. Ooh, wow. And I'm knitting it out of the Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo that I had talked about in my vlog, which I had actually originally bought to use in this sweater, and then changed my mind. So I had a weird amount of it, and I'm holding that with Knitting for Olive silk mohair in the color Oat. Wow, so it looks so nice. And this is the Noro. So it's very variegated. Like you can see the outside of the skein looks wacky, but it knits up less wacky. It is starting to get quite dark here, but that's okay. So yeah, this is the front. It's got this folded over collar. So I came to this pattern because I initially only had 3 balls of the Noro, which is about 900 meters, I think. Yeah, 900 meters. And so I was like, oh, I'll just make one of those like super cropped sweaters. And I really went back and forth on whether it'd be better to do a drop shoulder or a raglan for that kind of really short. Like I was thinking like hitting at bust level kind of cropped. And I tried knitting the Noro on its own, but I also tried knitting it with a mohair, and it was so nice with a mohair that I went and bought some of this from a yarn store near my house, near-ish to my house, because I fell in love with how it looked with mohair. Looked kind of like the terrazzo sweater by Petite Knit, which I think made this colorway of this yarn popular, because it's so pretty. So yeah, I landed on, I was trying to think of what shape of sweater would be best for a super crop sweater, and I was talking to my friend Rudy. I'm just always bring up the same knitting friends over and over again, and someday I should have them on to talk to you. But Rudy suggested that they thought drop shoulder would be better, and they had knit the Hanko before, which it's a super nice pattern, and it's designed, there are people having a snowball fight outside, it's designed with like stripes, so I kind of thought that I'm not adding stripes, but it's got a striping effect, so this would fit well with it. And yeah, so I took their recommendation, and it's a kind of drop shoulder construction I've never done before, where it's like all the increases are along this side seam. And then you knit the front and back separately. Oh, I'm all tangled up. And then pick up the sleeves and knit them down. So I'm at the point where it's just hard to manage and show you the full thing. So I have the body stitches on hold. I've got about like an inch of the body done, and then I picked up the sleeves, which this has been my plan because I thought I will do about an inch of the body. I'll pick up the sleeves, I'll knit the sleeves, and then see how much yarn I have left for the rest of the body. But I realized as I was knitting it, I was like feeling stressed out, because I really don't like playing yarn chicken. And also, especially because this yarn was really hard for me to find the first time, I got like hyper fixated on buying it because I thought it was pretty. And I ended up buying the 3 original balls from like a yarn store in Brooklyn or something, because it was the only place that I could find it. And I probably paid way too much money. Like I like have repressed how much money I spent on it, but it was fine. Whatever. So that was my plan, to like maximize the yarn, knit the sleeves, then go as far as I could on the body. And I just started to get scared that I wouldn't have enough to do the body. And there was a yarn store in Canada that had some in stock. And so I realized I was like rushing to knit it because I wanted to figure out if I had enough so that I could order the ball while it was still in stock before it sold out. Because I had in the past like been eyeing this yarn from other yarn stores in Canada and then not bought it fast enough, and then it sold out. And anyways, it's all silly. But so finally, because I realized that I was like rushing and feeling stressed, I just bought a ball. And I paid shipping for 1 ball of yarn, which felt excessive. But that's just life sometimes. And you know what? I've probably wasted $15 in worse ways. So this is the ball that I bought. So it's a different lot, but I don't think that really matters with this kind of yarn. Just in the way that it's like striped with a bunch of different colors, I think will be fine. So I just did this much sleeve last night. It's really hard to show. It's just one of those things where it looks so silly right now, but I do think it will be really nice when it's done. So yeah, that's been really nice to knit on, and it's so soft. And again, it's like maybe the same gauge as the Misurina, of like 20 stitch gauge, which just feels like it goes quickly to me. And I've actually never knit a sweater with mohair. This is my first ever sweater holding mohair with another yarn. And I will say, it's just so much money. I don't know. It's just so much money. And it kind of helps that I bought it in like different stages. But yeah, not like casting any judgment on anyone who does that, but I don't think it's something that I will do very often. Also because it's so warm and I'm a person who runs pretty warm. So I'm interested to see how practical this will be for me. But the fabric is really nice. There's a lot going on here, but yeah, and it's really fun to see the colors change. So that's been fun. And I started this maybe 2 weeks ago, so it's going pretty quickly, which it doesn't need to, but it is. And I'm kind of having fun doing the small circumference on the sleeves, just because I've done sleeves 2 at a time so much recently. So it's nice to do a little sleeve. Yeah, I don't know, there's not too much more to say about this. I probably said a lot. I wish that it was easier to show. But it looks very wide because of that drop shoulder. Yeah. And I do have this extra ball of yarn. I'm going to see how far I get with the 3 initial balls. And then decide if I want to, how long I want to make it. I'll try it on and make up my mind, because I have this extra ball now, but I will have to buy more mohair because I have exactly enough mohair for the 3 balls. Anyhow, yeah, so that's the Hanko. And it's getting dark, but I feel like we're okay. I don't know. This ring light is new. This is a test. I'm constantly trying out different setups, and I think this one's nice so far. All right, so I'm gonna try and not dwell too long on this, but I just wanted to show some of the gifts I've received for Christmas, and just because, apparently. And yeah, talk about a little bit about some of my plans for them. So what should I talk about first? My aunt and uncle just went to Australia for 3 months. And they got back right before Christmas, and they brought me back some yarn from Tasmania, I think. Yes. And it is, ooh, looks nice on camera. It's 100% Australian extra fine merino. It's superwash, 75 meters for 100 grams, which I think is bulky. This is the label. Yeah, and it's cute. They said they like called my mom from the yarn store to like look at the colors together, and yeah, it's really nice to like brought something from a vacation that somebody went to a yarn store and thought of me. It's so sweet. So they gave me 3 skeins of this color, which is called Tipuchina, and then 1 skein of this really nice moody color called Hortensia. And I feel like, as this is a single skein, I might make a hat with this one. And I cast on for like a neck warmer type of thing with this, with one of the balls of this, and then I think I need bigger needles to knit with this. I think my needles aren't large enough, so, or I have to check in my old set of needles. So I have to restart that, but it's fun. It's fun to knit with a hand-dyed yarn. And yeah, I rarely knit with bulky, and it's good to mix it up. So yeah, wow. It's so like vibrant. So yeah, that was the first gift. Very exciting. The second, also very exciting. My other uncle went to Greenland, and he brought me back some Kiviot. So Kiviot is muskox fiber, and I've heard that it's one of the warmest fibers. And it's got this crazy halo. This is my favorite one. So he got me these 2. I think this is like a lace weight, and this is probably like a light fingering. And this color is called Dried Blood, which I think is really great. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with these, especially considering they're going to be so warm. I've been thinking about making like a neck warmer type of thing, a little scarf, but then I'm like, I was going to make sort of a tube neck warmer. But then I thought, if it's really warm, I'm going to want to be able to like take it off easily. So lately I've been thinking maybe something kind of like a little triangle-y scarf thing that I can tie. I don't know. It just feels so special that I want to do the exact perfect thing with it. I wonder, I mean, I think they'd look nice. Imagine like a pressed flowers shawl. It would be so warm. Yeah, for some reason I kind of want to do two different things, but this is so light. Anyways. I mean, obviously if I did press flowers, it would be very small. That could be really pretty. So yeah, I'm probably gonna hold on to this for a while until I can think of the perfect project, because it feels, I just know that I probably won't get a lot of other opportunities to knit with Kiviat. So, but I also shouldn't overthink it, and I should just knit with nice things, right? Anyways, who knows? I'll make a decision eventually. So another thing, this was something I actually bought. Whoa, looks very vibrant in this light. So especially after I talked about this in my Everything I Knit in 2022 video, but I've been wearing my no nylon non-superwash socks a lot. So myself and my friend Kay were looking at Alley Cat Yarns, who had, or I think it was on Rachel, the Night Sky Knitting podcast, she had talked about this yarn called Ontario Sock, which is a blend of Ontario fibers that Alley Cat Yarns, based out of Ottawa, dyes. So it's 80% Dorset and Cheviot and 20% mohair. And I believe that this is spun at Wellington Fibers, which is a fiber mill in Ontario, that also spins this barn swallow sock for Small Bird Workshop. And this is, again, 70% wool, 30% mohair, so this has slightly less mohair. And then Kay went to Wellington Fibers and brought me back this, which is so sweet. So this is their sock base, and it is 30% mohair, 70% wool, in the color Wellington Rust. And this color from Alley Cat is called Chartreuse. So yeah, I have been thinking that for this year, what I would like to do is focus a little more on socks than on sweaters. Even though sweaters are like my big love, I think that socks are very practical, and I would like to have more no nylon, non-superwash socks. So yeah, I'm really excited about these. This color's crazy. It's the same color. It's very similar to this bag. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do more. I think because this is a darker yarn, I feel inclined to do the DRK everyday socks again in this. But I'm going to finish those ones first, see how they wear, and then decide. So, and then I was kind of thinking I wanted to do something a little more like patterned in this, but we'll see. It's all going to be decided by how I feel in the moment. And Kay and our friend Izzo, Kay's partner and my friend, we're all friends, also got me these beautiful sock blockers, which I'm excited to hang on the wall, honestly. They're so cute. I really like the idea of sock blockers as just as decoration. And Kay also gave me, and Izzo, a sweater's quantity of yarn. So they went to visit Izzo's family in Buffalo, and like a friend of Izzo's mom was destashing, and she had a lot of beautiful things, and Kay got a lot of them, which was very exciting, but then shared with me and with Rudy. That's our little knit night group, if that hasn't been apparent yet, but they gave me a whole sweater's quantity of yarn, and I had pulled out initially just one skein to show you, and then I was like, oh, it's just so fun to hold it all. And I don't know what this is, so yeah, we've lost our natural light, but that's pretty true to what it looks like. But when you get up close, you can see all those like neps. And it feels a lot to me like shelter, or like piece fleece. And so I tend to think it's something spun at that same mill, because it has that like kind of feltiness. And I also think that this was like, I think spun, like knit up and then frogged and reskeined, because all the skeins are different weight. So yeah, a whole sweater's quantity. And it's not, that doesn't quite look, it's kind of more mauve. It's like, I don't know. I'll start filming earlier in the day next time. But I already have an idea of what I'd like to make, and I think I will put a picture. I'd like to make the Canvas by Orland Souk, because I think I'd like to do some texture and cables, and that sweater is designed in shelter, and I think that this would be a good match. I honestly like combed Ravelry and the internet trying to figure out, see if I could find this colorway, and I couldn't. So if anybody knows what this colorway is, like what, I thought maybe it was like an old colorway of shelter or piece fleece or something, but I just can't find it anywhere. So if you know, let me know. But I think that sweater would be really fun to knit. And I don't really have, I have knit a cabled sweater in the past, but I don't have one. Do I? No, I don't. And that is a design that I really like. So yeah, that's my plan for this. But of course, these things can always change. And I've never been gifted a sweater's quantity before, and it was so nice. Like, I almost cried. What a nice gift. And I also, like, you just feel like very spoiled. I also got this sweet gift from Rudy, which I've just been keeping in the box because it was nice. And they got me this Knitter's Joint Salve. Made by hand on Treaty 1 territory. The Instagram here is Sunflower Knit. I haven't tried it yet because it's too nice, but it smells really good. I should just use it. Yeah, it smells amazing. And they gave me these tiny snips, which are very cute. And have this little like sheath, which is perfect. And this amazing fiber for spinning. And it's merino and Cotswold Wensleydale and banana silk. And it's so pretty, and they said this year we're gonna spin, and I agree, we are. So yeah, oh my god. I feel like I just talked a lot. I hope that it was interesting. I'm gonna wrap things up there because I'm exhausted. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will try and do this earlier next time. I mean, I think you can still see things, but I imagine there's going to be a noticeable difference between the beginning and the end of this video. It's now 4:30, which means the sun is starting to set, and it's also like fully a snowstorm out there, so that doesn't help either. But it's been really nice and cozy to talk to you with my year-round Christmas tree. I'm a year-round Christmas tree person now. I hope the setup was good with the camera and the mic. I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know what you're knitting in the comments. I love to hear it. And it always gives me good ideas. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too long before I record again. And have a great day. Happy knitting. Bye.